So, the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 Pro has almost arrived, and it didn't sneak in quietly. It walked through the door at Cannes, got spotted in field testing across 3 continents, leaked from every possible angle, and still managed to feel like a surprise when it finally landed. But here's what's interesting. DJI Osmo Pocket 4P is not just a story about a camera upgrade. The Pocket 4 Pro keeps the simple part, but the real question is, what does it mean for how you shoot and who actually needs one? Release, date, and price. Let's start with the timeline, because it's been a ride. Current intel puts the Pocket 4 Pro launch this June 2026, with some sources suggesting DJI could even accelerate the reveal to counter Insta360's upcoming Lunar Ultra, a competitor that's been generating serious buzz in the dual-camera pocket space. On price, the Pocket 4 Pro is expected to land around $730 USD. That's a meaningful jump over the standard Pocket 4's $499 starting point. But the gap in capability between the two models more than explains it. One critical note for US-based viewers: the Pocket 4 Pro has no FCC certification on record. DJI was added to the FCC's covered list in December 2025, meaning no new DJI device can receive US certification going forward. The standard Pocket 4 cleared that hurdle before the deadline. The Pro did not. This means official US retail availability is unlikely in 2026, though international markets, including Europe and Asia, have no such restrictions. Alright, let's talk hardware, because this is where the Pocket 4 Pro earns its name. The primary camera keeps the 1-inch 50mm sensor from the standard Pocket 4. That's not a downgrade, it's a foundation. But the Pro version adds a variable aperture range of f1.7 to f2.8, giving shooters actual control over depth of field rather than relying entirely on post-production tricks. In real terms, that means creamy background separation on a device small enough to clip to a backpack strap. The second lens is where the conversation gets genuinely exciting. A 1.15-inch 48mm telephoto sensor with a 70mm equivalent focal length delivers 3x optical zoom. Not digital, not cropped, actual optical zoom. That changes the creative range of this device entirely. For the first time in this form factor, you can shoot a wide establishing shot and then punch in for a tight close-up without moving a single step or sacrificing image quality. Video capabilities push into serious territory. 6K recording at 60 FPS and 4K at 240 FPS for ultra-slow motion. Pair that with 17 stops of dynamic range, a figure DJI has officially confirmed, and you have a highlight-to-shadow range that genuinely challenges cameras 3 times its size and 10 times its price. The D-Log 2 color profile gives colorists the kind of raw adjacent flexibility that was completely unthinkable in a pocket gimbal 2 years ago. On the practical side, 128 GB of built-in storage with 800 Mbps transfer speeds means you're not fumbling with microSD cards mid-shoot, and files hit your drive almost instantly. ActiveTrack 7.0 handles subject tracking with a level of persistence that feels almost telepathic in testing footage, and the battery is confirmed to be larger than the standard model's 1500 mAh cell, important for creators pushing the 6K recording capabilities to their limits. The body itself gets an ergonomic overhaul with a flip-out touchscreen for intuitive framing, and early reports suggest tighter integration with DJI's broader accessory ecosystem. Modular controls, remote handling, and external audio compatibility all appear to be part of the package. The standard Pocket 4 is genuinely excellent. It launched at $499, shoots 4K at 240 FPS, records 10-bit D-Log M footage, weighs just 116 grams, 35% lighter than the Pocket 3, and packs 107 GB of internal storage at 800 Mbps. For everyday vlogging, travel content, social media, and casual filmmaking, It is an extraordinarily capable device that requires zero compromise on portability. The Pro doesn't make the standard model obsolete. What it does is open a completely different creative lane. The telephoto lens alone creates a separation that specs on paper can't fully capture. When you can shift from a 20mm wide perspective to a 70mm compressed telephoto without swapping gear, without adding weight, and without pausing the shoot, that's not a spec upgrade, that's a workflow transformation. Then there's the variable aperture. The standard Pocket 4 gives you a fixed aperture. The Pro lets you control how much light hits the sensor and how soft the background renders. Again, on a camera this size, that's remarkable. But the price gap is real, and so is the use case gap. If your work is daily vlogging, street content, family travel, or social media output, the standard Pocket 4 is more camera than you'll ever need. The Pro is for creators who are already pushing the limits of what their current setup can do and know exactly what additional creative range a telephoto lens and D-Log 2 color profile would unlock for them. The community reaction has been genuinely fascinating and far more divided than DJI probably expected. Two camps are forming very clearly. Camp 1 is all in. For them, the dual lens system feels like the evolution the Pocket series has been building toward for years. They see the telephoto as a creative unlock, not a gimmick, and they're willing to pay the premium. These are typically creators who already feel constrained by single focal length pocket cameras and have been waiting for a reason to justify the upgrade. Camp 2 is more skeptical, and their concern isn't really about the specs, it's about the Pocket 4 itself. A lot of people feel the jump from Pocket 3 to Pocket 4 wasn't dramatic enough to feel like a new generation. That frustration has reframed the conversation. Many creators now see the Pro as the real Pocket 4, the one that should have been the base model all along. There's also genuine anxiety about the telephoto's real-world performance. Optical zoom in a device this small is technically impressive, but creators have been burned before by telephoto lenses that look great in spec sheets and soften noticeably in actual footage. The community wants to see side-by-side tests before forming a final verdict. The DJI Osmo Pocket 4P is the most ambitious thing DJI has ever put in your pocket. Not because of the megapixels, not because of the 6K resolution or the 17 stops of dynamic range, as genuinely impressive as those numbers are, but because of what this camera represents philosophically, the idea that professional creative tools don't have to be large, heavy, or intimidating. DJI itself called it a mini cinema camera when they teased it at Cannes. Based on everything we know, that's not marketing language, that's a mission statement. So, keep your eyes open and your pockets ready. Also, subscribe to our channel if you don't want to miss the hands-on review the moment the Pocket 4P lands. And as always, thanks for watching.